Mic check. Hey Google, stop. You might be asking yourself why I'm sitting. It's a simple reason. It's more comfortable, it's more convenient, and that's about it. Comfort and convenience. You have to ask yourself, do you want your life to be comfortable and convenient? Or do you want to have a confident, compelling, charismatic, commanding type of life? And I don't know about you, but I don't want to sit in a chair. I want to stand up. I want to enjoy myself. I want to enjoy life and all it has to offer. And your ability to speak and speak clearly, cogently. Apologies, just really busy man. I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes here for this video. And I am really excited to make this video for you because as you can see, this is a brand new investment. This will be for our lessons, and I could show you the other boards, but it's a little bit further away from me. I bought a smaller one. It was just 2x3. And, you know, I'd like you to do this test. Take your arm, right, from one corner to the other. And, nah, that's a bad test. Anyway, I'm taking one take, as I promised, right? So don't worry about it. But if you really want, just for me to prove that this is a 75-inch, I'm trying to think about how I can prove it. Now, this video is going really not the way I expected to. But I just wanted to take one take. And just know, I'm making a 10-minute video. I still have 9 minutes and 14 seconds left since I actually started the timer. So it's okay. Relax and let's get started. Okay. This here also represents, again, the reason I'm wearing white. It's a white canvas for all of you. And now you get a chance to draw and create the semester that you want. More importantly, the semester that you want that's going to lead toward the life that you want. I'll tell you something. This Speech 1000C class was exactly the reason how I got into this field. I know for a lot of you, this is just a class you have to take, but it really is what you want it to be. And for me, I owe every single public speaking and life success attached to it because of my initiation into this course. That's why it means so much to me. So that's a little bit about me. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to write some key words down, okay? And these keywords are going to guide me for the rest of the 8 minutes that I'll be talking in this part 1 video. So let's write down some of those. And you might not be able to see me right now, but that is a-okay. Now, I have the word attention and an arrow to hats. That's all I'm going to write down, and with that, I'm going to be able to talk about it for now. So I have all these hats on, right? And I made you do this video where I ask you to change a little bit something subtle. Well, here's the reason why. You see, when you start with this hat, it's all very white, and suddenly the next video, it's also a really white hat, but then suddenly there's some designs on it. And to everyone else, they might not notice or pick up on it. It's just a subtle change that you're making, right? People might not know that you're making these changes. And maybe you might not realize it yourself. But rest assured that with each video that you're making, with the progression, I am noticing those changes in you. And those changes are significant. There's one more in between here. Athens, Greece. Suddenly you might start to see the progression. And I want you to think of this metaphorically as a kid you see every day. You see the kid every day, so you don't really know how much it grows, right? Or he or she grows, my apologies. If you don't see the kid for a month or 2 months, you're like, wow, this kid grew so much. Now, for those of you who may not be at home and you're out of state, think about how when you go back to your families, they can really see a big growth in you in the last 3 months. Think about all the people that haven't seen you do the COVID quarantine. They can really see a big change of you in a matter of months when they interact with you again. Now, finally, this is my last hat for today, and you can see it's really colorful. All of you through your videos have started to paint on your white canvases already. And it's wonderful for me to watch your videos, know more about you, and all your different types of personalities. So as you can probably see from the comments I'm able to write back to you and your replies, it's more interesting. Some of you have interesting takes in music, really interesting stories. I can see your development and progression. So you are all not just white canvases anymore. The question you have to ask yourself is, what picture do you want to paint for yourself? All right, so one question I'd like you to ask yourself and write down in your notebook is, by the end of this semester, what impression do you want your classmates to have about you? What do you want to be able to say about yourself by the end of this semester? And what ultimately do you want to be the takeaway from the semester? You see, most students, and I understand, you just want something convenient. You want something easy. You just want to sit down. Sure, turn off your camera, don't have to say anything, but you got to really ask yourself, how is that really helping you with the tuition that you're paying in college to get to where you want to be? You got to stand up, you got to stand out, and you have to show yourself through your speech. So notice how I was able to talk about all that nonsense or blah, blah, blah through just the attention/hats. And if I would add in more words now, I would say that I did mention about subtlety, right? Subtle changes along the way. And of course, I mentioned some other content as well. Clearly, I didn't read from it because that would only take 3 seconds, but I was able to talk about it for about 3-4 minutes. Stop the video if you need to right now. I'd like you to write some other words that may come to mind based upon what I've said so far. Okay, so you stop the video just now. I'm going to keep going. Some parts of what you might say, for example, is you might write the word canvas. You might ask yourself some of the questions, right, about how you want to be remembered, and so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, animals and pets, I'd like you to keep this in mind here. Okay, this is patented by me, KWPBSO. This stands for keywords, bullet points, and symbols only. This is the way that I would like you to train yourself in speech from here on out. This is a perfect sample of keywords, bullet points, and symbols only. There are no typed sentences. There are no paragraphs then, no pages, no chapters, no novels to read and memorize, right? We want to spend time practicing the speaking process. Now, how does this help me out? Well, simple. I'm speaking. I don't know what I want to talk about. Boom. All right, the white canvas. So speaking about that, you have the opportunity to paint any picture you want in regards to your personality and the progress and performance that you want to be able to make. Boom. Oh, what else? Right, so there it is. Okay, so part of today's lesson is I want to tell you the 4 types of speeches that we have. Before I wrote anything, all right, we can say that that was an impromptu speech. An impromptu speech is when you have nothing prepared to begin with. Hey, how's your day going? You didn't know someone was going to ask you that, did you? And suddenly you have to come up with a response on the fly. Impromptu speaking is the main way that we communicate all the time because we can't predict what's happening. Imagine how foolish you would sound if someone asked you, hey, how's your night going so far? And you were to tell them, let me think about it. I'm going to go home, type a manuscript, memorize it, and let me tell you tomorrow morning. That's really bizarre and strange. And you wouldn't do that, would you? Okay, so we want to get you away from the manuscript. The manuscript is when you type word for word, sentence for sentence, paragraph by paragraph, and you read it off. Okay, you would not propose to someone and say, honey, let me tell you why I want to propose to you. And you just read a script off of them. Very, very bizarre. Likewise, what all of you might have been trying to do before was to have a memorized manuscript speech. Now, memorized manuscripts are great for actors on Broadway. You got to know your lines. To be or not to be? That is the question. You got to get that right. But you don't have to get right regular conversation in everyday life, right? Because all the circumstances keep changing. A simple example, I was helping this elementary school student who was president of his school. And the principal and everyone just wanted them to memorize their speeches. So he memorized good morning because the event was supposed to happen in the morning. Guess what? There was a delay. It was afternoon. And while it was afternoon, he still had his memorized speech because they told him they had to have it. And he said good morning. That's not being able to adapt to the situation because you memorized it. So what we're trying to teach you here is what's called extemporaneous speaking. And extemporaneous speaking is when you do have material prepared in keywords, bullet points, and symbols only, right? So this here is what we're aiming for in the class. Now, I know I only have 8 seconds left in this talk here, so I messed up, so to speak, but I'm just going to go for 1 more minute to conclude this lesson, okay? I like you to think of this metaphor here. Solid, liquid, and gas, okay? If you have a manuscript and you memorize it, right? This is your brain, okay? And it's like a solid. All the molecules are together because you completely memorized all this bit. The problem is, once you memorize it, let's say you have to edit something out. Now you're in trouble because you don't know the next line to it. Okay, so think about your favorite song, right? Or even the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the, I don't remember the next word, of the, try that with one of your favorite song lyrics, right? Skip over a word, skip over a line. It's going to mess you up. And that's the problem with manuscript speaking. If you mess up somewhere, you're going to trip the rest of the way. And that's why you want to avoid that. Now, impromptu speaking is literally when you just have almost nothing there. And the problem with that is it's just up in the air. You don't know what's going to come out of your mouth. You could just blurt things out, and it's exactly what you don't want to do. And I know that's the fear for many of you because you don't want to say something wrong or incorrect. That's why we don't want to do impromptu speeches either, because that would be like a gas, right? Where you have no control of the dispersion of your words through your mouth. I like you, and this is a quote from Bruce Lee, where there's like, you should be like water, like just flowing and everything. All right, we're going to train you more to be like water, where there is a flow to your speech, but you're not set on exactly how you have to get there. So if there is a little trap over here, you can simply still find the way that you want to navigate that way. That's where you have the most adaptability, adjustability, and awareness to what it is that you have to do. Okay, so just remember for this little lesson here that there are 4 types of speeches, okay? And I put it in order from the most solid to the most gas, and this is the one that we want, which is the liquid over here. The beautiful part of this is you had to watch this video to understand the creation of this, right? It was made in the moment. Was it perfect? Absolutely not. But then again, it was, because this is the only one and original one that I'm making, and it's specifically for all of you. Again, keywords, bullet points, symbols only. You see that? Now, all this talk was created, okay? You can imagine if I tried to memorize this talk now, and then I try to reenact it to someone else, it would just be really awkward. I apologize that this is over 10, but I just wanted to get all my points across. I try to keep each one to about 10 to 15. So that's the first lesson right now. Make sure you know this. May or may not be in a pop quiz. See a secret over there. And I'll give you another one. Why not?